Hello, everyone from Chelsea Fan TV. I hope you're all doing very, very well. Welcome back to another episode of the Day After Show. And this is the day after basically nothing happened. If we're going to be vague about it, I guess. But there's always something. There's always something we can dive into, and we're going to be going into all the details about the good, bad. How much good and how much bad there is around the club, because I think there's a bit of a debate around that, as well as obviously the Bournemouth performance, the lineup, and the situation going into the rest of the month, which is a very busy month, as is always the case in December. Father, mate, you were there yesterday. How are you? We bumped into each other in Basingstoke, didn't we?
Yeah, I've calmed down a little bit after Sunday, but my head went hot again after Gay scored that goal earlier. So basically, we're fifth place now. Other than that, I'm great.
Other than that, you're good. Yeah. Did you end up getting your Chinese in Leicester Square?
Yes, I did.
Did you? Are you unretired?
Unretired.
Oh, okay.
No, you know. What about you, Charlie? How are you, mate?
Oh, wonderful, mate.
I didn't realize you work every Sunday. I didn't know that.
Yeah, most Sundays, mate. Yeah, but I was sitting at home, and it's not. I don't have to go anywhere. But yeah, no, all good, mate. So yeah, not much to say about yesterday, was it? It was pretty boring, wasn't it? And I don't like. It's one of the most boring games I think we've had in a long time.
Yeah,
it's just nothing happened.
Yeah, it was
dull, wasn't it? It was really dull.
It was pretty quiet. I mean, I'm guessing you watched from home, Thomas.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I know you offered me that ticket, but I had quite a lot of uni applications because it's going on right now, all of this stuff now. So I've got to send in all my essays, all of that. So I wouldn't have been able to make the trip, although it's not too far actually, Bournemouth. I've been there a couple of times, but yeah, I mean, I'm not glad that I stayed at home, but I may have saved a bit of money not going out there to see a bit of a dismal display, and it's just a boring match to watch. And yeah, it's a shame because for these smaller teams we just struggle to turn up. So yeah, and this December period is going to be a tricky one for us.
The thing is, when people say, because after people like Alex House, how bad was that? Yeah, have you ever seen anything worse? And I was like, well.
Yeah, 2 days ago.
I've definitely seen a lot worse than that.
3 days before was way worse. Yeah.
And also, we didn't lose the game. So, I mean, let's not act like we got absolutely pummeled. But I think both teams had chances. I think you could say Bournemouth definitely had better chances than we did. Luca, just to respond to this, why is Father not on the thumb? Because he decided to fill in last minute. He is the saviour, the king Father. He goes where he wants. He does what he wants, but he's always reliable. And he filled in for Kev, who's pulled out because he's making dinner.
No,
yeah, I know it's very poor, isn't it, Kev? If you're watching this, I'm ashamed. I'm absolutely ashamed. You could just eat on stream. I mean, it's not particularly nice for the viewers, and if you've got the sort of going in the background, but
you can always mute it.
Yeah, you can just mute yourself. It's not the end of the world. But there you go. But no, I think Bournemouth, all in all, probably deserved that result. But I think there's an argument that we could definitely be happy with a point. Not that we should be, but there's an argument based on the game itself. I mean, I'm not talking about the context of the fact that we're going for the title or anything like that. That's not the context I'm using. But if you didn't know who was Chelsea and who was Bournemouth, and you didn't know who was who, then you would say the team that obviously Bournemouth were deserved to win. So that for that reason, we should be happy with a point. That's what I'm getting at. Not that I wanted a point in the first place.
At the start of the season, I think a point would have been fine in those circumstances, just because they were really, really good at the start of the season. They were second in the league. A point at the Vitality Stadium, it's a decent result, but going off their form, they haven't won in their last 5 games, so you should expect to win this game. And obviously, with the rotation against Leeds, we've brought our strongest, or what was our strongest lineup, back into the fold against Bournemouth on Saturday. But yeah, we should be winning the game. And I think that it's always, every time we get these tricky fixtures away from home, we always have that 10, 15 minutes at the start where we have to ride the wave of like constant pressure from the other team. Like, for example, Leeds, that first 15, 20 minutes, we just had to ride that wave of pressure. We were under the cosh for those first 20 minutes. I've seen that similar pattern in a lot of away games this season or last season as well. And then once we settle down, that's where I just feel like we just have to be more clinical. And even yesterday, every time we were sort of in an attacking position, we weren't really looking to make the most of that or benefit from that. Whereas other teams with less chances, they'll make the most of those small chances. And I think with us, every time we progressed the ball, we weren't fully progressive with it in the final third. We were looking to go back instead of, obviously the options weren't great up front and stuff. But yeah, I feel like we rode the first 15, 20 minutes, that wave, not the best. Sanchez bailed us out a couple of times. But yeah, once you get settled, we should expect to be dominating the ball in these games and create chances and finish them off.
I mean, we dominated possession quite a lot. Was it 60% we had?
Yeah, well, we did nothing with it, so it's irrelevant.
No, I'm not saying.
Oh, right. I thought. Oh, yeah. No. So you just saying. I thought you were like trying to defend us. No, fair enough. No,
yeah, I mean that was the stats. So you're right. Right, we didn't do much.
The annoying thing is that when you come off that dreadful performance against Leeds, you expect a response. You expect, the intensity to be upped. You expect there to be an energy, a desire, and a hunger about the performance. And the response was that, which is not good enough. It's not an acceptable level of performance given what we just saw a few days beforehand. You think there'd be a point to prove? You think there'd be, a desire to right the wrong from Wednesday night, and that simply wasn't there. It was our best team available, our strongest team available, pretty much. That was out. A team that I don't really think anyone would have had any complaints with. And this is, you're going to a Bournemouth side, right? And Bournemouth in general is a difficult place to go. But this is a Bournemouth team, right? As Thomas said, lost four. They hadn't won in their last 5 games. 4 of those had been defeats, and they conceded 13 goals in that time frame. And we go there and we do that. It's not too much to ask to expect a Chelsea side to turn up, for the tactics to be attack, and to take the game to a Bournemouth side who are in dreadful form. And we didn't look like, from the first 5 minutes onwards, we didn't look like winning or doing anything to cause them any issues whatsoever. It was a pathetic performance. I know we didn't win, but I'd lose, sorry, but it was pathetic. The only positive was another clean sheet. Other than that, there was 0 positives to take from the game.
Just to give some context as well, Charlie, because you make a great point. The results that Bournemouth had from November onwards, they lost 3-1 against City, 4-0 against Villa. They drew against West Ham 2-2, lost against Sunderland, and then lost against Everton. So, I mean, actually, when you look at that run of form, apart from the draw against West Ham, it's their best result since, since November, really. I mean, it is their best result.
Yeah, they've been awful recently.
I mean, it's strange as well, because I actually, I'll be totally honest, I wasn't doing much research before the game. And I just wanted to enjoy it. But when you look at it like that, it does make you think that, come on, guys, we've got to go into this and feel like we're on top. They're probably struggling for confidence. I'm sure they've got a couple of players out as well, maybe a few who aren't hitting form. And then you look at us, and the lineup was great. I mean, I was on the train with Father. I know he flip-flopped on the fan cam, but we were both really, really happy with the lineup. I was saying, I don't think there's anything else that I would have done differently going into that. I would have 100% had Delap over João Pedro. We're obviously going to speak about both of them later. I was happy with Palmer back in. I was happy with Garnacho. I was happy with Neto. I thought, okay, Estevan needs a rest. And then you look at the back line and you go, well, you got to put Gusto in there because Caicedo's out. Then you've got James in the midfield, no problem. Cucurella, strong. Sanchez, no issues there. So when we're complaining about something in particular to do with this game, I'll pass this around to you, Father, and Thomas as well. The starting lineup cannot be an issue. Okay, so the only reason it would be an issue is because people don't think it's good enough in the first place. Maybe that's one argument I guess you could use.
It's not good enough in the first place.
You don't believe it's good enough?
No, it's not. Well, look, but the evidence is there. It's not good enough.
I mean, we beat Barcelona and
yeah,
and had a very, very good performance with 10 men against Arsenal.
Yeah, we did
with those players.
But from a consistency standpoint, week in, week out in the Premier League, it's not good enough. It's good enough to win a cup competition. It's good enough to rise to the occasion in one-off big games. There's not that many big games throughout the course of a season. The next quote-unquote big game is Man City away at the start of January. All these other games coming up are not really big games there. But you look at the next three in the Premier League, right? Everton at home, which is must win now. We're fifth and we're 1 point ahead of them. They're in decent form. Then we've got Newcastle away and Aston Villa at home. Villa are the most informed team in the league, and Newcastle, when we are playing well, when we go there, we rarely ever win. So we're at a point now where 2 points from Arsenal, Leeds, and Bournemouth is unacceptable. No circumstances make that acceptable. It is unacceptable. We have that's the end of it. Ultimately, we should be doing much better than that. We weren't prepared for Leeds whatsoever, which is a disgrace in itself. Bournemouth, was another example of a team just saying, "Come and break us down," and we couldn't do it at all. We had no idea how to do it, and we're now in a situation where, not me, but people were getting carried away, thinking this team's much better than it is, thinking there was a title race and a title challenge, and there's anything but that. We're a long way off doing that for a sustained period of a season. We are very much in a top four race. And if we don't beat Everton on the weekend, we're in big trouble.
Thomas, just going back to the starting 11, I mean, how did you feel before the game when you saw it?
I was completely fine with it. Maybe the only thing I would have said was maybe I was slightly surprised to not see Andre Santos. I mean, I know he started against Leeds away and he played, I think, 90 minutes, but I feel like Reece James, obviously, we've seen him in midfield the last couple of weeks, and I think he's good there. And I think I've enjoyed his physicality in there. When we lose the ball, his counter pressing, it really helps us. Same with Gusto. But normally, when you see our midfield, our double pivot, you'll have one person inverting. So let's say Reece James or Gusto or whatever, or Cucurella, and then you'll have another deep lying. So normally it would be like a Caicedo. So I was slightly surprised like Santos wasn't in there alongside James, because obviously Enzo, we've seen him in that number 8 role under Maresca recently, and I don't think we've seen him that much in that deep lying like double pivot. So yesterday we saw it was like Enzo picking up those deeper like pockets with Reece James, but I think defensively he's not as good on that side. So I think I prefer to have someone like a Santos or a Caicedo or a Sugo. Obviously he's injured, but someone like that will provide you a bit more stability. So I was slightly confused why. I mean, I like to see Enzo in deeper positions, because we've seen under Potter that was when he was playing his best, when he was like distributing all of his passing. Like he had great range of passing. His shooting was good, his crossing, all of that. So I liked when he's starting sort of our attacks from deeper, but obviously Maresca sort of changed him into more of a box-to-box midfielder, which I really like, sort of like a box crash, and I do like when he does that. But yeah, I was slightly surprised Santos wasn't in there, just because it provides you more cover. But still, we should be very capable of winning against that Bournemouth side with the team that we had on. Obviously, it's a shame that Delap went on, and with Guiu, there's just a lack of quality there, and that's why it's just not good enough to have Delap and Guiu as your striker options. And obviously Pedro, we've seen him there a couple of times this season. He was good at the start, but yeah, he just doesn't look motivated right now. So yeah, I mean, the team should be good enough to do and beat this Bournemouth side. But yeah, I think also Maresca could have been a bit more proactive with his subs, like brought on a Gittins maybe a bit earlier, brought on an Esteval a bit earlier. Yeah, I can excuse that one a bit more, because obviously Neto provides that defensive work rate. But yeah, I think it was a lineup where we should be good enough to beat that Bournemouth side. And I think defensively I was fine. I think we were good defensively. Obviously Sanchez bailed us out a couple of times, but yeah, it should have been good enough to beat that Bournemouth side.
Go on, Father, mate. Go on.
On paper, it should, though, but football isn't played on paper, is it? So I think this is we have to look at it as a bigger point of view, because I felt that Maresca have only one system of play, and that is to accommodate that Caicedo. Without Caicedo, we're pointless, basically. Look at the stats when we won games with Caicedo starting in that position. what a surprise. The numbers are big. When Caicedo's not in the team, I saw a stat the other day, 25% of win rate. So is it the problem that Maresca only have one way of play, or Maresca doesn't really prepare the worst case that Caicedo's getting injured or suspended? So I'm not like, let me know though. Let me know in the comments. Like, what do you guys think? Is it more to Maresca's system, not preparing the worst case and the best case, or that's what I felt that we struggle a lot in the last 2 games, especially Leeds away, because as you can see, the way that we start Santos, he was getting exposed, playing in that advanced role than Enzo. Enzo play as a 6 doesn't really suit him that well. He's not a destroyer like Caicedo. He's more of a ball progressor. So there's a reason why Santos not on the starting lineup yesterday, because he trusted more on Reece than under Santos.
I think Reece gives you more. He's more aggressive as well than Santos, and as you said, bro, like he trusts him more. Like Reece is trusted more in midfield over Santos currently. That won't always be the case, but you know, he with particularly with Caicedo out, he is trusted more. If Santos had played better against Leeds and the performance had been different and the result had been different or whatever, then maybe he starts that game. But ultimately, you know, we've seen that in the big games, Reece is ahead of Santos in the pecking order to play in midfield.
But don't you think you can have both of them in there? Don't you think you can have James and Santos and then Enzo more as that 8?
You could, but that means
Who do you drop?
Well, that's the thing. You then obviously when Palmer's not available, that's not a problem. But now that Palmer's back in the fold, that doesn't really work anymore.
I suppose one thing we could have done though is we could have done just that when we took Palmer off. And then put João Pedro on the pitch.
Yeah, we could have done that. But look, I think ultimately what this really exposes, right, is look, we knew this anyway. Caicedo's the most important player. We managed to win a decent chunk of games without Palmer for most of the season. Now, that doesn't mean that Palmer's not important to this team. We know how good he is, right, and how important he is. But as soon as Caicedo's out that team, we just fall apart. The team doesn't function, and we just don't look like a team whatsoever. So it goes without question, not that we needed any more evidence. He is our most important player, and he is the player that makes this team tick and makes this team what it is. And you take him out, and we haven't got anything. And I think what it also shows, look, you're not going to get a player the quality of Caicedo or someone, you know, close to that level. But I think we can get someone closer than what we've currently got. Obviously, Lavia being injured is a big problem, because I think he is someone that can sort of do that job or replicate that job to a better level than an Andre Santos might be able to at this current point in time, and then than what an Asugu can do as well. But he's constantly unavailable, so you can't really think about him in the picture. But the problem is though, like when this is not really a team, because what it is really is it's built around 4 or 5 key players, and then as soon as one of those players comes out, we're average and we can't really do anything. That's not a team. That's just individuals. You see, the best teams, right, are the ones that are able to find performances and play well when different players come in. You know, someone comes out, in goes someone else. They know the role. It's plug and play. With us, someone comes out and you don't, like, it all falls apart. Again, it's the squad depth's been exposed. People were gassing up the summer window. Every game that goes by, the summer window is looking worse and worse and worse. It was absolutely awful. It was terrible. And we're seeing that now. Well, I'm sure we'll get onto it.
The thing is, again, I think people have kind of misunderstood our perception of Maresca. Is he, like, the question should be like this though: is Maresca have only one tactic, only one style of play only with Caicedo to accommodate Caicedo in the lineup? Is he only have that one kind of a specific tactic so that he can have Caicedo in the lineup? What if Caicedo
I don't think it's about that, Father. I think it's that Caicedo is the best person to do the job that Maresca's
But
asking.
we don't know how to play without him. That's the point. He's
That's the
like
thing. We don't know
last
to play
season.
without him.
I mean, we do when Lav is in the squad.
But last
And this
season,
is
right?
the other problem is we don't
Yeah,
just have
sure.
one midfielder. We have two. that we can
Last
count.
season, he started all 38 Premier League games, Caicedo, every single one. Obviously, against Burnley, we rested him. We were able to get the win. Last time we were, again, against a poor Burnley, so we didn't play particularly well, but we managed to get a win. Last time he was on the bench this season was against Nottingham Forest. We were goddamn awful in that first half. We should have been 2 goals down, but their finishing was poor. He comes on in the second half, and obviously we improve and we get the result. Is that a point now where if Caicedo doesn't play, we're genuinely struggling to get a result?
100%.
That's where we are right now.
I think it's a with or without Caicedo we look struggle, and not only that, this is a wide bigger issue than Caicedo. I think also the front three, they were blanking a lot this season.
It's crap. Let's just
That's
call
the thing.
it what it is. It's bang average. The attack outside of Cole Palmer is bang average.
That's the thing. If you have Caicedo in this game, that still doesn't change whether we take our chances or not. For me, that's at the end of the day. Like, for me, also, I was going to say something as well. I feel like with Leeds away and Bournemouth away, it's almost as if it's not like we're not trying, but we don't get up. Like, it's not like we have the motivation to play these sort of games as much as like your Arsenal's or Barcelona's at home. For those games, you can see that everyone wants to win. They want to have that fight to win those big matches. You have to have that same mentality when you're playing Leeds away. It's almost as if we go to Leeds and Bournemouth and we expect to win and we expect to walk out after 90 minutes and just have 3 points. Football doesn't work that way. The Premier League is so competitive this year or in the last 10 years, I don't know, that you don't just walk away in these sort of grounds and just get 3 points. And it's almost as if our team just almost expects to get 3 points every time we go to these lesser sides. And I'm sorry, but we need to show the same grit, the same intensity in every single challenge, in every single time we progress the play, like with Barcelona at home, Arsenal at home. You've seen the intensity that we're playing with in the final third. Why not have the same intensity when we're playing at Bournemouth and Leeds away? That's what makes the teams the best, is that every single week, they're able to consistently reproduce the same high levels of intensity and quality. And that will separate the best teams in this league compared to the lesser teams. And even though this year, the league's not that strong, you've not got many good teams who are dominating right now. So if you can find a bit of consistency, you're going to do well. So that's why I don't really understand why in these lesser teams, you so call them lesser teams, why we don't see that same intensity, because that will help the fans encourage the team as well. And that's why for me, it's also a question of motivation as well as lack of quality in attack or wherever in midfield.
I agree. I agree on the point about Caicedo, definitely. I mean, we miss him a lot. I will say to everyone watching as well, this week, because there's not actually that much to break down with the game in terms of goals or anything like that.
Yeah.
So this week, we're going to just go straight into a Q&A. But we're going to do that once we get up to 50 likes. Okay, so once we got to 50 likes, people, then we are going to get started with a Q&A. If you haven't smashed the like button, please do. There's almost 100 of you on YouTube. There is almost 200 of you on X as well. So listen, guys, smash that like button. It makes a big difference. And as soon as that happens, we will start answering your questions straight away. Put them in the chat beforehand. I will track my way back. And I'm looking forward to seeing what you have to say as well. We'll try and get through as many as possible. So 50 likes, and then we will get started. But yeah, I'll be honest, Thomas, mate. Like, the intensity is definitely a word that we were talking about yesterday. I was really, really disappointed. I was almost more disappointed in a way when we started to bring the intensity in the last sort of 10 minutes. I was like, where's this been, guys? Where has this been? I mean, it's not like Maresca got the team in a huddle and said, come on, guys. Like, we were already on the pitch, we were already playing, and then we just sort of flick a switch. So we know we're capable of doing it. We know we're able to do it. We just didn't do it.
And that's why you don't have that, for me, where you need a couple experienced heads to say to the whole team, I'm sorry, guys, but this level that we're performing at, all these standards that we're performing at, aren't good enough. All this intensity that we're playing with is just not good enough, and we don't have that experienced head in the dressing room. Sanchez and Tosin are the oldest players in the dressing room. It's not like when you had John Terry, who's bringing everyone by the scruff of their neck and telling you, lads, every single week, if we want to win the league, or if we want to progress, or if we want to keep consistency, we have to bring the same intensity to every single match, no matter who we're playing. And that's where, for me, you get those sort of like problems with the lack of experience. And that's where we've seen it yesterday at Elland Road as well. We just don't have someone with that experience to tell everyone to just bring the same energy for every single game.
What do you think about that, Father? Or do you feel like there was intensity from any players?
I was just saying everyone looked lackluster yesterday. I was shocked how bad Enzo was yesterday.
And Enzo Fernandez or Maresca?
Fernandez. It was bad yesterday. João Pedro, he's been blanking for 6 weeks now, ever since the Tottenham game. Even Cole Palmer, in some ways, like he looked way rusty when he stopped on the pitch. Like he wasn't fully.
That's to be expected, though. Maybe there's a lack of preseason, and he was out for long as well.
He's coming back from injury, isn't he? I mean, that's
that was his first start in over 2 months. Yeah,
again, he was way rusty. Like, I thought Estevao when he came off the bench didn't really do much though. But other than that, man, it was so disjointed to watch.
Well, I think when you start feeling like you're relying on Estevao, that's when you got problems. I don't want us to get to that stage. I really don't. I don't think we're there yet, by the way. But I think that if you see that's like the only clear, because me and Charlie and Steve, who was sat with us as well, we were saying like, what's the sub that would make a difference? And Estevao was the one that was pretty obvious.
Mate, he's the only one.
But that's the problem, isn't it? It's like
that's a massive problem.
Is there? Yeah. Who else is going to come on? Because I mean, I know Gittins can give you a moment, like he can do that, but I don't feel like I can count on him. I think Estevao can give me a 6, 7 out of 10 as a baseline, whereas Gittins is either, maybe a 7 or 8, or maybe a 2. He either plays really well or absolutely horrendous. You don't really get that middle ground.
Give you pressing. Guy will just give you the pressing. For me, he's more of a last 10 minutes of the game sort of forward.
He's an impact.
Do you think that's one of the reasons our intensity improved when Mark Guy was on the pitch?
Maybe, but
I say that. I mean, the substitution was quite early regardless.
Yeah, he played well over an hour. But I've said it many times before. Mark Guiu is just Conor Gallagher up front. He just runs about, gives you energy, doesn't really do anything else other than that. That's the reality of the situation. But I think ultimately, look, if Caicedo plays this game, that doesn't make us win the game. Maybe we concede less chances. Maybe we, there's not as much threat on our goal. But ultimately, Caicedo playing doesn't make us attack better. It doesn't make the forwards do more. It doesn't make the wingers take on their men and put decent balls into the box. It doesn't make any of that happen. So, ultimately, I think what we have to accept here is that it's bordering on disgraceful, our attacking options, given the amount of money invested and the amount of money spent on this squad. When you look at our attacking options compared to the top sides, and we want to be a top side, right? We should be a top side. We have been a top side in the past. We've won absolutely everything. You look at the amount of money spent and the amount of players signed, and then you see our options in the front line in attack. It's disgraceful. Nowhere near good enough. Nowhere near good enough. Outside of Cole Palmer, no one is of the level required in that attack for us to be a serious team. No one.
No one is. Say that last bit, Charlie.
Outside of Cole Palmer, no one is of the level required for us to be a serious team in the attack.
Neto is.
No, he's not.
No,
let me explain. Right, I like Pedro Neto. He's a good player. He's done well in the Club World Cup, and he started the season very well. Statistically, he's improved this season. If you actually watch a lot of Neto's play, it is very, very average from game to game. But people get blinded by the work rate and all that sort of thing.
It stands out. They're not blinded. It stands out.
No, it does. But his actual his actual attacking play
There's quality on the ball.
is very average.
That's the thing.
He's very average. He's added a few more goals to his game, but his actual quality on the ball and his attacking play is not great. That's my opinion. I like him. He's in the team for a reason. He brings something, but his attacking quality is not particularly good on the ball. Garnacho is average. Gittins is average.
I don't know how you can say that it's been average.
Pedro Neto. No, listen to me. Pedro Neto is not a title winning winger for a Premier League winning side. He is a squad option. That's a rotation option if you are serious about winning the league.
He won titles with players like Willian. Pedro Neto was at a similar level.
But look who else we had in the team. If you've got an Eden Hazard,
you can't say that Pedro Neto's not capable of being in a title-winning side just because Eden Hazard's not in the squad.
No, he's not though. As a main guy, he's not. As a main guy, he's not.
You don't have to be the main guy. That's why you have Palmer.
He is the main guy.
You only need one main guy. It's not main guys.
Out wide, he's the main guy. He is the main winger, and he is not of the level required. He's not of the quality to be a starting level winger week in, week out to win a title. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's not.
Goal and assist against Forest, assist against Sunderland, goal against Wolves, goal against Burnley, goal against Leeds.
You say that, but what about the other games?
What are we talking about here?
Mate, you're not going to win a title with Pedro Neto being your starting winger week in, week out. You're not.
But you rotate. That's why we have Esteval. That's the whole point. You can rotate the two. But you're telling me right now that Pedro Neto is not good enough for Chelsea. That's what you're telling me.
No, I'm not saying he's not good enough for Chelsea.
He's a squad player.
Okay, so you change your wording now. So not as the main guy. He doesn't have to be the main guy because you rotate and you have other options.
No, but the point is, he's the main guy.
Those two options are exceptional.
No, because what Charlie's saying is that in this team right now, he is the main, our main winger, because we don't have a winger of like a Hazard quality, let's say, and we can't rely on Neto to produce every single week, because obviously he'll have moments where he'll score.
I agree with that. He's not going to win you games every week, but he is more than capable. He's more than capable of being in a title.
I'm not saying he's not capable of playing for Chelsea. I've never said that. My point is that his quality on the ball is average, and in my opinion, you are not going to win a Premier League with him as your main winger. And right now, he is Chelsea's main winger. He starts pretty much every single Premier League game. And the other options we've got, Esteval is an exceptional talent, but he's young, he's inconsistent, he's finding his feet. And Garnacho and Gittins are bang average. So when you look at the quality of the wide players we've got, that is not good enough. It is not good enough,
you're not saying that you don't like Neto. You're just saying that, as a whole, you don't think our wingers are good enough. That's what you're saying.
They're not good enough,
right? Okay, because it sounded like you were saying Pedro Neto is not good enough for Chelsea.
No.
Couldn't be in a league title-winning squad.
That's not what I'm saying at all. He's not my thing. Just to make this clear again. In my opinion, he is not good enough to be your main guy. He's the main winger right now. And if you want to win a Premier League title, Pedro Neto is not going to win you a Premier League title. Look at wingers that win you Premier Leagues, right? Pedro Neto is not like... Look at Liverpool won the league last season. Neto's not of the quality of any of those wide players. Look at, Arsenal, for example.
Yeah.
This is my point. Like, does Pedro Neto start for Manchester City, for Arsenal, the teams that we're chasing? No, he doesn't.
Arsenal, honestly, I think that as a rotation for Saka, they would probably happily have a player like Neto. And I consider Neto to be a better player than
no way. He's probably behind Saka, or let alone Martinelli. In that
he's not behind Martin. He's not behind.
The point is, though, he's not starting for I don't think I like him. He's not bad. All I'm saying is that if we want to get back to the top, he should be a rotation option. He should be coming off the bench. He should be the second choice. He should be the guy that gets rotated in for the midweek games and whatnot, And we should have better quality in the wide areas.
I understand your point, and I to an extent I agree with you, but we should not be singling out Pedro Neto as the reason that this team is not having success. If you want the man, then you should be looking at your number 10. You should also be looking at your left wingers. And you should be looking at your strike. It's not all on the right winger. I'm
not singling him out. I'm just saying that across the board, outside of Cole Palmer, the required quality is not good enough to compete at a top level.
Yeah. But it's almost as if like every single season though, are we actually going to end up having that quality in the winger, like sort of area? Obviously the market's not great. The winger market's not great. We all know that. But every time we spend time like developing a player for 2 to 3 seasons, like a Madueke, obviously Madueke, I think they're similar. I prefer Noni to Neto, but every time we spend 2 or 3 years developing a player, we always sell them. So we're never going to expect to have a quality or high level quality winger like the likes of your Hazards if every 2 seasons we just end up selling and just recycling our wingers. That's the same thing with Gittins on the left hand side. Gittins and Garnacho, completely different to last season when we had Sancho and Mudryk. That's, for me, it's also an idea of continuity. Like, you have to have continuity in the side if you want to start having players who are of the required level. Obviously, when you have players who just aren't good enough, I understand you sell them. But for me, there's just not enough consistency in these attacking options. We're just changing every single year and recycling our attacking options. That's never going to help with producing a lot of quality. So same with Jackson. For me, Jackson slots into this team straight away. And we sold him after developing for 3 or 4 seasons. And we're starting that same cycle with Delap. And for me, that's where, obviously, for me, in terms of Neto, I do think he is underwhelming at times, and I think he suits more of a counter-attacking team. And when we're on the counter, I think he suits us well. But I think there are times where we're playing against a low block, and he's just underwhelming, and we just don't have that lack of quality. And like back on that point, I just think continuity is really important. And obviously, you've got Quenda and Pires coming in next season. So does that mean we're going to recycle all our wingers again? So,
well, I saw a comment earlier saying that Quenda's going to come in and replace Neto. I think that what would end up happening is you would continue to have Neto in the team, and then I think one of the other wingers would go. To be honest, probably, if anything, I think Gitten's going on loan or something like that.
Well, I think we'll keep them. I suspect they might move Esteval inside, and he'll be an option at number 10, and they'll have Neto and Quenda as right wingers, and then the other situation. I'd be surprised if Neto left. Maresca likes him a lot. He's still a decent age. I'd be surprised if he was sold, because then again, you're just making yourself worse, because as much potential as Quenda's got and as well as he's performing, is he better than Neto in the Premier League right now? No, obviously he's not played, but is he going to give you more in the Premier League than Neto has been giving us? Not straight away. He's not. I don't think so. I think we can all agree that the quality in the attack is not good. Garnacho and Gittins don't give you anywhere near enough. Delap has been poor. João Pedro's been goddamn awful pretty much for the last 2 months. And then obviously Palmer's getting his way back to fitness. And then you've got Mark Guiu, who's not it either. So I don't get it. I really don't.
If you look at it though, with our wingers and up front right now, all of these players are new. They've barely had any time to gel into the team. So why are we expecting them to produce straight away?
Go on, Father. You've been quiet, mate. You've been quiet.
You know what? The thing is, it's not. If I'm looking at the squad right now, my issue is that how can you integrate all of them in one team? You know, let's say, how can we find what is the actual question would be, what is the best starting 11 for Enzo Maresca? Because he keeps chopping and changing week in, week out, isn't he? So at this rate, we're now in the 7th December 2025, and Maresca has been in charge for nearly over a year now. We still haven't sought out our best 11, have we? So,
I think we have. It's just that we're not able to pick it because you've got players that are injured and you've got other things like I'd say our best 11 is Cucurella, Fofana, Colwell, James on the right, Enzo, Caicedo, Palmer in the 10, and then probably
Esteval. I'd
say Esteval, and then if I had to put Neto, and I'd put him on the left just for the sake of the argument. And then Delap and João Pedro, for me, it's much of a muchness. Like, I don't really know who I'd prefer out of either of them, to be honest with you. But based on so far, it would be João Pedro.
That's the point I'm saying. You just listed our starting 11. Our best players in that are all the players who've been here for more than 2 or 3 years. You look at Enzo, Caicedo, James, Cucurella, Palmer. All of those are our best players. They've been in this team for 2 or 3 years. You can't expect us to produce when we're constantly signing players with potential who might work in 2 or 3 years, or who might do this or I don't know, produce in 4 or 5 years. That just doesn't work. And especially when you have a team like Chelsea, it's fine. You can have your players like your Estevals and all those players who have a lot of potential and who might do well in, I don't know, a year. Obviously, Estevals doing really well right now. Those sort of players, I understand why you buy them. But with people like your left wing, you have to have someone who that younger left winger looks up to and sees as that role model, or who can help gel in. With the Gittins and Garnacho on the left, we've bought them this season. They've had 3 months. None of them have got sort of role models to look up to and like sort of not mold their game off, but almost help them develop mentally and also physically. And that's why for me, it's just this, it's almost going back to the recruitment where we've listed our best players and it's always the best players who've been there with continuity. And for me, that's why you need to keep continuity. And obviously, that's why we need to stop also neglecting signing those bigger players. Obviously, it's good to go on this lower wage system because it means that we're able to sell players. But there has to be a point where we just have to sign more quality in these wider areas, because we're expecting Gittins, Garnacho to produce on the left when, in all fairness, I'm pretty sure that no one was expecting them to put up great numbers this season. And that's where, for me, it goes back to almost like a transfer strategy that we've said every single season.
Yeah, well said, Thomas. Well said. No, I think that's.
We have changed. The whole attack has changed, pretty much. Like obviously, other than Palmer and Neto, the whole attacking options are all new. And I've got no issue with selling players, but as a bare minimum requirement, you need to bring in better players than the ones that left. We haven't done that.
You know what? Like I said yesterday, this is a long-term disease that Chelsea have this long-term disease for a while now. I felt that it's been since Costa days, let alone Morata days, let alone Higuain days, that we haven't found an actual number 9. The best number 9 that we could have got, Costa's like 10 years ago. But other than that, after the Costa's departure, everyone looks absolute wasteful. You got Tammy Higuain on his last engine on his career.
Giroud was decent, but
Abraham was okay.
Tammy Abraham was okay.
Lukaku.
Lukaku was Lukaku. You know what? For the first 4 months, he was okay, but other than before he got found out, and then he did that whole interview stuff, and then after that, it's like,
the Lukaku thing. I mean, I know what he said in that interview was terrible and all that, but like, I feel like we could have maybe given him a second chance. I know it's like clutching onto thin straws, but But to be fair, I saw an interview the other day which Cucurella said. I'm not sure if it was true, but he was like, if Guardiola called for me or something, I'd have been on my knees.
No, he wanted to go. He wanted to go to Man City when City were obviously ahead of us in getting him, and obviously they weren't prepared to pay what Brighton wanted, and then we did, and he came to us. But he would have been. He said he wanted to join City when they were in for him. So that's
true.
I
just still feel like players have said stuff not similar to Lukaku, but like not of the same magnitude, but still.
Lukaku. If your girlfriend cheated on you, you wouldn't take her back, would you?
Yeah, but he was trying.
It depends how desperate you are, and we're desperate. So
we'll take what we can get, Charlie. We'll take what we can get.
Well, exactly. But and also now, Delap's shoulder injury, he's out for 8 weeks. So we're double fucked now. We're like,
let's dive into let's talk about Delap first, and then let's speak about Garnacho as well, because we haven't spoken about those two. We've spoken a bit about Neto and obviously Estevao. So let's start off with Delap. Go on, Charlie, take it away.
Well, he's going to be out for 8 weeks now with that shoulder injury, which is obviously not ideal. He's missed a similar amount of time with a hamstring injury. He just hasn't really been able to get going this season. In the games that he has played, he's been underwhelming. Obviously, Coman scored against Barcelona in the second half. That was a half decent performance. Took the goal well. Otherwise, I've got to be perfectly honest. outside of West Ham away right at the start of the season where he played well despite not scoring, he had a good game. I've been really disappointed with him. I think he's been massively underwhelming. Yes, we've not created a lot of chances for him, but the stuff that he's been signed for, he's simply not doing. The hold-up play is not great. The link-up play is not particularly good. Instead of kicking the ball, he's always kicking the man. He seems more interested in having a scrap with the defenders rather than trying to actually win physical battles. When the ball's in the air, he's not even looking at the ball. He's more interested in, leaving something on the defender. And I just think he's been quite poor this season. I'm not giving up on him or anything along those lines whatsoever. But again, similar to what we've done with Nicholas Jackson, why are we signing someone with such little top flight experience and then putting them straight into a position where they're the number one choice, number 9, to lead the line for Chelsea Football Club? The guy's not ready to do that at this stage of his career.
He's got no competition as well.
Yeah, it should be He should be a rotation option behind a proper proven striker. And he should be the guy that starts in midweek games. He should be the guy that comes off the bench in the Premier League games. He shouldn't be the guy that we're relying on for the bulk of our goals because he's not of the level required right now. And that in itself is a big problem. He's not smart in his play. He doesn't read the game, particularly well. Movement doesn't really seem to be there. And now he's missing for 8 weeks again, and we forget about him until the end of January, start of February. He's not been good enough. I like him. I like the signing. He was impressive last season. Good for a squad option. Why on earth have we signed him to make him the first choice striker? It's beyond. It's negligible. It's negligence to have done that. We did it with Nicholas Jackson. We signed him when he was raw. And had like 1 season. He had half a season at Villarreal in the first team. We signed him, think, okay, squad option, whatever, chuck straight in to the first team to lead the line straight away. The same thing with Jackson. We're not learning from our mistakes.
I don't know if I'd call it a mistake in that sense. I mean, I think it was a good signing in terms of the fact that he only cost 30 million.
No, I'm not saying it's not a good signing.
Profile that I personally really like.
It's a good signing.
First choice, though. That's my point. You've signed him to be
I understand what you're saying. I think what would have been nice is if we would have kept Jackson and had those 3 options at the time. I mean, people don't want to admit it, but everyone was creaming their pants thinking of Jackson, Delap, and João Pedro up top, and you can rotate. Now everyone's going, oh, but I was never happy with Jackson. Jackson was not the answer, and Delap's not the answer either. It's like, well. Hang on a second. We weren't thinking like this. I'm not talking about you specifically, Charlie. But how can we even judge a player when he's not even been fully fit? He hasn't even had a preseason. I mean, if we're talking about, yes, of course we want him to do better. We expect more. Fine. But as soon as we get into the territory, and again, I'm not saying anyone specific, of ripping into players because they haven't scored enough goals. Delap's not played a single game. At least in the Premier League, where he's had more than 70 minutes. So how am I supposed to judge a striker who's not even playing full games? I mean, it could be that he just loves a goal late on, and we've never had the opportunity to see it. I mean, I'm spouting a lot of different things, but how can you judge someone who hasn't really had the opportunity?
But all you can do is judge what you've seen, and from what we've seen, he's been underwhelming, and he's not been good enough. And that's not ripping into a player. That's not tearing a player down. That's me looking at it and thinking, right, okay, what was he doing last season? That was good. Why did we sign him? What are we expecting from him? Yeah. We signed him for box presence, for physicality, for that striker instinct.
Different profile to Jackson.
And he's not offered anything, man. I know he's been injured. He's been in and out of the side. When he has played, we've not created many opportunities for him, but he seems more interested in wrestling defenders and actually getting the football and making something happen with it. Yeah. So for me, we've got a problem because he was never good enough to be the main guy at Chelsea. He's good enough to be a rotation option behind a proven striker. And yet we've done exactly the same thing again. We've signed him, expect him to be the lead striker at Chelsea. This is someone that scored 12 goals for Ipswich last season, playing with most of his goals coming on the transition on the counter-attack because teams just come out and attack Ipswich and whatnot. Teams don't do that against Chelsea. Most teams against Chelsea sit back, and it's a totally different way of playing, and it's something he's got to get used to, something he's got to adapt to. But Right now, mate, he's been underwhelming and he's been disappointing. It's as simple as that.
And
I actually don't think he was that bad. Sorry, 1 second, Thomas, and then you come in. I actually don't think he was that bad against Bournemouth. It's interesting because I thought he had some good moments of hold-up play, which surprised me because I think he's had poor hold-up play.
He had one or two moments.
But then obviously he got injured early on, and I'm thinking, oh my God. But for me, my stance is very clear, and this is sort of my final thing on Delap is once he gets that opportunity, and I'm not saying like a Jackson where you have a full season, you got no cover. I'm not saying that, but 5-6 games in a row, 90 minutes in the Prem, 5 times, and he doesn't take that opportunity, no problem. You can say he's not taking his opportunities. He's had the chance. He's been given service. Fingers crossed. And then you can make an argument. But until then, it's been a bad period, no doubt. But also, I can't judge a player who's injured, and I can't judge a player who hasn't played full 90 minutes. So
you can only judge on what you've seen.
You can judge what you've seen, but also you have to take into the fact that he's coming from a new team, he's a young player, and you've got to be open-minded. And those are the things that I'm taking into this. So I'm not looking at Delap the same way that I'd look at Osman or Yorkerez if we signed him or any of those other players. So people say, well, they say I've got a bias for Delap because he's English or whatever it is. Why don't you speak the same way about João Pedro? Because first of all, João Pedro is actually a more experienced player than Delap. Second of all, he's actually performed to a level that now I know he's capable of reaching certain heights. And I just think it's a different conversation entirely. I wouldn't even want to compare Delap and João Pedro because they're different types of players with different circumstances. But for me, I've been unimpressed with Delap in recent weeks, and I've certainly been unimpressed with
Pedro's been shocking
since that Tottenham game. I mean, I think he was shite when he came on. But before we go on to João Pedro, go on, Thomas. And we haven't spoken about Garnacho either.
No, I was going to say for Delap, for me, it was just inevitable that at the start of the summer, this was going to happen, where all the pressure's on Delap and we have no other good options, because everyone at the start of the summer was saying, oh, it's fine, we don't need to keep Jackson, we got Delap and Pedro, we're totally fine, you can sell Jackson, all of that. And I was telling everyone, I'm sorry, but it's just not enough. First of all, Delap's just got a lack of experience in this top level. And second of all, Pedro, we've seen him a couple times at the Club World Cup in the number 9 with Palmer there, but he's primarily a 10 who can also play 9. So you're leaving yourself once again short in that position. And when will the sport directors, when are they ever going to get sort of singled out for making the same mistake repeatedly every single season? It's been the past 3 seasons where this has happened, where you've got Jackson, last season, for example, you had Jackson and Nkunku, and then Nkunku, every time he was playing up front, he never did anything. So you had to rest all of your sort of pressure on Jackson. It's the same this season. Delap, like Charlie was saying, Delap should not be your number 1 option. And also, you should have that other options as well. It's like he's injured now and we've only got Guiu up front and Pedro who can play up front. And it's almost as if, like, guys, did we not see this in the summer, that this was inevitable, that this was going to happen? Leaving yourself with one out-and-out number 9 at the start of the season is always just, it's going to leave yourself short. And I don't know how people can't see that keeping someone like a Jackson, he's maybe not the best option, but he's been there and done it for us. Not been there and done it, but he's been at the club the past 3 seasons. He knows how to play in this Maresca system. And I'm sorry, but with people saying these options are enough, you're going to play around 55, 60 games this season. Delap and Pedro up front is not enough. And that's why I just don't see how people right now, they're just going back on what they were saying over the summer, that, oh, we don't need these options. And that's why it's another mistake. And over this next 8 weeks, when Delap is injured, we're going to have literally virtually no one up front to play. We're going to have Guiu, who's just he's so raw, he's just got a lack of quality. So yeah, it's frustrating having to go in this repeated system every single year of saying that we've just got a lack of depth up front.
Hey, big up to Father. I apologize, Father, for putting that comment on screen. All love in the building. All love in the building for Father.
I think I know who that is, though. I think I know
what happened.
I think I know who that is.
What was the earlier comment I highlighted? Father is one of the biggest frauds for Twitter.
I know who that is.
He is on trial. Why are you on trial, Father? I'd love to know why.
He's a
I
fraud.
think I know who that is. I don't know.
What's he done? To be fair, were you tweeting about how much you like the lineup as well? Is that what's happened there?
Not really. They'll probably flip flop on it. Check
Have
the
you been
VAR on
flip
the
flopping
train, innit?
again?
No, but check the VAR on it. If there's a number,
Check the VAR. Oh God! Check the train line CCTV. That's what we're going to have to do. Check the train line CCTV. But no, all love in the building, guys. Father, mate, what did you make of Garnacho? Because I said after, and I'll retract this point because I don't know why I said it actually, but I said after I thought Garnacho was probably the best player on the pitch, but it was obviously Robert Sanchez. But I would say Garnacho was the second best.
I'd say Fofana was decent.
Sadly, yeah,
I
sadly.
think he was the best. He was getting cooked in the first half.
No, Fofana was better than
Fofana was
Garnacho.
good, Alex. Fofana was good.
You know
In the
what?
first half, I thought Semenyo was bullying him. To be
You know
honest
what?
with you, mate.
I'll give Garnacho a leeway, yeah, because I thought in the first half, I thought it was slightly medium, but in the second half, I think he stepped up, but in a way for me, like if he finds someone in that final third, maybe Mark you or Joao Pedro, then he would have been given a lot more credit to him in the second half. I just think that again, it's the same old issue that we're still lacking in that final third, that lack of end product that we're still missing at the moment. Like as good as Garnacho as he was yesterday, it's the same issue, isn't it?
Bro, he's like he's just basically Mudryk with a bit more shooting. He takes players on, he pulls the ball back from the byline and he lacks them products. He was better yesterday. I'll give him that. But again, was that because he was good or was that because the bar was so low from everyone else? Probably a combination of the two. There were some positive moments. I like what I saw from him. But again, he lacks consistency. And this is happening by design because we sign a lot of young players, haven't played a lot of football. And you're going to get them good some weeks, not so good other weeks. And that's okay if it's one or two players. That's not okay when it's over half your team.
Do you want to just name them without going into details, like who
what?
Well, who you think needs to be more consistent in terms of individually? Who do you need to see more from?
Delap. I need to see more from Delap. I need to see more from Joao Pedro. I need to see more from Garnacho. I need to see more from Gittins. I need to see more from who else? I need to see more from. Neto's giving stuff, but I probably need more from him still.
Joao Pedro.
On top of what he's given already, because to make up for the fact that the other guys are not giving you enough.
I'm with you.
So there's 4 or 5 there straight off the bat who are not giving enough.
Fair enough. What about Garnacho as a whole, though? I mean, do you feel like he's improving? I'm not saying at the level, but I'm just saying, do you think that he's got better since he's been a Chelsea player?
Yeah, he's got better since his first appearances for the club. Absolutely, I think he's trending in the right direction, but whether that's good enough for what we need remains to be seen.
Yeah, he's another one where he's just a runner for me. Like he runs at his opposition, but I just don't think he knows like that well how to beat his man unless he uses a bit of pace and crosses it from the byline. Like Charlie said, I think his crossing's decent. He'll put in some good balls into the box that just people rarely attack. But apart from that, he loses the ball a couple times, like just running at his defender, and he just doesn't really know like how to. It's almost like he has a bit of lack of IQ, like Mudryk when he's running at his defender. So I think he's decent, but yeah, you shouldn't be relying on him every single week.
I mean, to be fair, I was always an advocate for the signing of Garnacho because I think people overhated on him. Think that. Would I what?
Was you advocate for Garnacho signing?
Of course I was. There's a clip of me and Lewis arguing about it. I said in January we should have signed Garnacho, but my big thing was price. See, I didn't want to sign him for 50 million like United wanted. I said that 30 million or less, I'd be chuffed. 35, I'd be content. 40 is like a fair deal. It's not great. It's not bad. I wasn't particularly happy with the price, to be honest with you. So I would have personally taken advantage of United I think we could have got him for cheaper. But no, I think Garnacho's a good squad player. I think he's a good squad player.
Yeah, but he's starting. But he's first choice on the left-hand side, and this is the problem. You're calling him a squad player.
I'm with you on that, Charlie.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that. But then that's where I criticise the signing of Gittins, because I think Gittins is a level down from Garnacho. So it's like when we have the centre-back debate, you've got your Fofanas, your Chalobahs, and then you've got your Tosins and your Disassis and your Badia Shields. And you think, well, maybe it's just a bit pointless having them in the squad if you're going to stockpile. But if you're going to stockpile your Estevals, players like that, obviously people are going to be chuffed. It takes a bit of time. I think Garnacho's good because he's played in the Premier League, and I kind of know what I'm going to get from him. I look at Garnacho and I see nowhere near as reliable as Neto in terms of the work ethic, etc. But I kind of know what I'm going to get. Okay, so for me, Garnacho brings a level of stability, but not necessarily the flair or the GA that you're looking for. Which obviously I understand. But I mean, if we're looking at the Bournemouth game specifically, I think that Garnacho was pretty decent, to be honest with you. I'm not going to say I'll give him a 10 out of 10, but I'd give him a 7. I thought he was fine. If you've got other players that step up in that game, then I think we're okay. I mean, he had a couple of opportunities. He had one shot that went sort of whiskered by. He hit the post with the ball that came in, and he was one of our better players. So I mean, if at the end of that game we're singling out Garnacho as one of the issues in this Chelsea squad, I just think that's a bit harsh, because I would look at Neto and say Neto had a worse game than Garnacho, and obviously everyone knows I love Neto. Neto is probably one of my favorite players this season. But I think you need more. You need to see more from the midfield. I mean, Enzo Fernandez, like we've spoken about it before, after Burnley, he got his goal but didn't play very well. When you play badly and don't get GA in the midfield, then there's no point of even being in that team. And that's where I can justify a player like Andre Santos then slotting in. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. I think that I understand the frustration. And to be fair, last season was a lot harder for me because I hated the direction that I felt like we were moving in. And so maybe I'm looking at this from a different lens, because I always try and look at it from a more positive angle. I've tried to do it. Last season, I couldn't do it. But this season, I said, what? We won a European Cup. We won the Club World Cup. Nobody expected that. We got top 4. Every single box that we asked for as a bare minimum, we ticked. And so for me, there has to be a level, and this is more on the management in terms of Maresca, a level of, you've shown me, and now you deserve a little bit more trust, a little bit more patience, as opposed to the fact that you came in as a championship manager. Like, can we not all agree that we look at Maresca in a different lens just because of that?
Yeah, of course you do, because he's earned the right to be trusted. He's earned that right to to try and take us forward another level again. He's proven that he can win. He's proven that he can get us in the top 4. Tactically, there's a few things that he needs to work on. Yes, not so much rotation in certain games, particularly in the back line and then at centre back. But ultimately as well, you're only as good as the tools you've got to work with. And
agreed.
As we've discussed tonight, unfortunately, he's hamstrung with a lack of quality in key parts of the football pitch. Yeah. And there's only so much you can do when you lack that. If you want to be a side that finishes 4th or 5th, what we've got is fine. But I'm pretty sure all of us and every Chelsea fan wants to be much more than that. And to be more than that, you need much more quality than what we've currently got. And you need much more proven quality as well. We have quality in the team. We don't have proven quality. When our best 11 is playing, and what is our perceived best team, we can beat anyone and we can compete. Problem is, no one's best 11 stays fit for the whole season, and you have to make changes. The problem we've got is that the rotation options are nowhere near good enough. Nowhere near good enough.
That's down to the recruitment, though.
It's down to recruitment, and the recruitment's a problem and this is not about not spending money. We've spent money, but we've wasted so much money and misspent so much money when if we'd just been smart in the transfer window and addressed things that needed to be addressed, we would be in such a better position. There's a genuine scenario in an alternative universe out there that if we'd signed what we needed to do in the summer, we could be top of the league right now.
It's a Groundhog Day, isn't it? We're never gonna have this allegation away, man, in it. So
What?
the directors, it's Maresca as well. Like it's a combination of both, really.
There's only so much we can achieve league-wise, recruiting the way that we are. Cup competitions we'll win because you can play your best team most of the time, and you've only got to be consistent for 6, 7, 8 games, and we can manage that. But if we got aspirations, which we do, of winning the Premier League title, you've got to be consistent for over a 38-game season. We're nowhere near being consistent over a 38-game season. We're a long way off that. And the reason we're a long way off that is because we don't have enough quality.
That's never going to change if we don't change the model.
No, the model's not changing. So we're going to have to hope that we actually stop turning players over and actually keep them for longer than 1 or 2 seasons. Yeah. Otherwise, all we're doing is just developing players for a couple of years and then starting again and doing the same process again without actually getting any better.
Yeah, I mean, this sort of goes on well to this super chat by Original No Fake Thin. Good to see you, Original Jamaican here. Manager needs to take the season serious. We have the team. It's just to select the correct player. So he thinks that the players are good enough. He just doesn't think we're selecting the right ones. I guess the question I'd then ask is, who are the right ones, and if they're right, who's wrong, and then going into a bit more depth as well. But we don't have enough time to speak about every single aspect of it. But I definitely think we have enough to achieve top 4 comfortably. And enough to achieve a cup. No, we want. I know we want. I'm just reacting to the super chat. I think we have enough to do. We have enough to do better than last season. If that's sort of
in terms of league or in terms of points or what.
Depends how you see it.
I would say in terms of points, and yes, I would say in terms.
How many points did we get last season?
69.
Whoa, 69 points. Excellent.
Yeah, there you go.
Fantastic.
Yeah, 69 points. So we can definitely improve on that. And I think that we can win a domestic cup. And I think just the fact, and people won't like this, but just the fact that we're going to maintain top 4, being in the Champions League as opposed to being in the Conference League is a huge step up. Because that means you actually have to rotate properly. And you have to perform on a high level in multiple.
Yeah, and we should have signed better quality players in order to do that. And that's what a lot of this boils down. This is what the crux of it really is that we didn't sign good enough players in the positions that were required to make the squad of the required standard, so we can deal with Champions League and Premier League.
And we
can't.
And we were mucking about every time we had the chance to sign one. Like Mignon, we could have paid 10 more mil, and we just didn't pay it. And then we're
I mean, to be fair, that's not a terrible decision. But
it's the concept. It's the idea.
Yeah.
It's the idea that you're not paying 10 mil more for someone more experienced, and then you're willing to pay. How much do we pay for Gittins? 55?
48 million, and then it's like 4 million add-on, so it could be worth like 52 million quid.
Exactly.
They pulled our pants down. They did.
Exactly. So we're willing to spend that much for Gittins, but then if you want to bring in for example, when we fumbled the bag with Elise as well, imagine if we signed him, that right wing slot would literally be locked down, and that's where it's just frustrating, where we just can't sign those bigger players, and every time we get close to it, it's almost as if there's a problem with the wages or there's a problem with the contract situation, all of that. Same with Elise. At the end, we were like, oh, we didn't know his wages were going to be that high, although we literally were negotiating with him for was it 2 months?
Well, 2 summers on the spin. Like the deal was done that first summer, the 20 under Poch. That's when Poch came in. The Elise deal was all done, and then it obviously fell apart because they reported us or whatever. But they'd obviously agreed wages then, so I don't really get. I don't know. I don't know what happened there. But yeah, look, we fumbled opportunities to sign to sign proven quality players that would have made a difference to this team. And until we start doing that, it's going to be difficult to see how we start pushing up the table and becoming serious title challengers.
But would you be willing to change the wage structure in order to sign those better players?
Yeah,
we'll have to.
But then it ends up in a situation. Yeah,
if we got rid of a player like Fofana, or God forbid a player like Cucurella, who are on those higher wages, then you'd have the room to do it without even spending more. So, I don't know if we're going to be getting rid of any players in that bracket. I probably don't.
But
think
that's
we
the
will.
thing. That's where we struggle to get rid of the likes of Sterling's, Disassis, Chilwells, just because they're on such high wages.
But also because they've been playing terribly as well. They both work. The wages is absolutely a big part of it. But if they'd been playing better and showing good form, that probably isn't as big an issue. But it is absolutely an issue, and it's a I don't know. It's a difficult balance to find, but
100%.
Yeah, ultimately we just lack quality. As simple as that.
All right, we have hit the 50 like milestone. It took a while, guys. I'm not going to lie. I expected that to be a little bit quicker, but hey, better late than never. So we're going to go on to some questions now, and then we'll react to some of those. Let's react to this one by Luca. He says, should we be looking into the EFL and beyond for new young wingers? I enjoy non-league football and I'm aware of some young wingers that could replace. What the fuck is this?
Mate, this is banter. Simple answer. No,
that's just too much, really.
Just time wasting, bro.
Anyway, why do we have to go further than the EFL?
No, we're not.
Thomas, do you know this guy?
No, I don't. But it's just like that comment. It just makes me bloody hell.
Yeah, right. Next
question. I was actually thinking that this is an interesting question.
Not a serious question. Right. Next question.
Okay. All right. Okay, it's not just the intensity, it's playing players in areas that they are not comfortable in. Palmer is world class on the right hand side and horrible in the left half space. Why play him there? This is definitely a conversation we had last season. And he's had some good moments when he's drifted left. Do you remember that amazing pass against Newcastle?
Nottingham Forest away as well. That pass.
Yeah, that was last season, but then you've got to argue, do you have more good moments on the right? And I would say that
he's much better on that right side for sure. I don't know why I played him on the left hand side yesterday, but hopefully he just switches him to the right moving forwards.
What do you think, Father?
Do you know what? He's right though. He's right. I think his best position it has been on the right.
That's where he played his best football. I mean, even in the 10, you can still drift, right? And you can interchange. And if you're playing with Esteval, you can afford to do that because they're both pretty comfortable in those areas. So I think we agree with that one, Mash. Woodshedder says, are you seeing any signs of questionable body language? Let's go based on the Bournemouth game. Thomas.
Pedro, absolutely.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were. Anyone else?
I think it's more of just a lack of, like I was saying before, it's like we don't want to get up for these sort of games. Just that's where you see the lack of intensity, lack of pressing. I think one person who's been slightly underrated, I have to say, Gusto. I've been impressed with his intensity the last couple games because for me he's gone slightly under the radar in terms of what he's been doing out of possession. I think he's been doing well. He's been putting in some good challenges. But apart from João Pedro, I mean, Garnacho showed a couple signs, but that's more like him just not being he doesn't like it when he gets substituted. I mean, is Delap trying to fight other players? Does that show a lack of body language? I don't know. That's more an attitude problem, more of a mentality problem. But yeah, apart from Pedro, I haven't really seen people showing a lack of body language because we're perfectly capable when we played Barcelona and Arsenal. It's more just, I feel like for these games, we should be more motivated to want to do well in these games and prove people that we're a serious team, because every time we beat teams like Barcelona and Arsenal, teams start to respect us, or other fans as well. And then when we put in two results like this, we just won't get respect and we won't get sort of the praise that we deserve in these sort of games. As in, we don't deserve praise in these games, but people won't respect us if we put in these sort of performances. And that's why, for me, you just have to be more motivated for those sort of fixtures.
Yeah, I think me and Charlie, we were chatting after Bournemouth, and I thought João Pedro's body language was a disgrace.
He's the only one, really.
I'm trying to think of anyone else that stands out to me.
I don't think so.
I mean, Esteval at Leeds, like that challenge that he put in, that was horrible as well.
Yeah, but that's not body language. That's more
that's
sort of
more just
attitude,
petulance,
mentality, decision-making kind of things. But
Yeah,
actual body language, players looking like they're not asked.
That's
Really, I haven't really seen that.
I will say this:
Pedro yesterday.
I think Palmer's body language wasn't great either. If I'm honest, he was complaining a lot.
Yeah, well, mate, it's difficult when you're like surrounded by dross and they keep doing.
Yeah.
Like,
well, let's not act like he was doing anything.
No. By the way, he wasn't great yesterday either. But he's got more of an excuse than the others. That's his first start in 2 months. He's been out for a while. He's going to be rusty. But yeah, there's going to be a frustration when teammates aren't doing what you want them to do. But I wouldn't say that was a body language issue. That's more like you're just frustrated. Like I didn't ever look at Palmer once yesterday and think, oh, he don't want to be there. He don't fancy it. João Pedro didn't fancy it. He was just like, he weren't asked. But I don't think there's body language issue. I just think we've got a bit of a mentality issue with when it comes to when it comes to games away from the big ones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean,
we try to win. The thing is, when it comes to these 0-0 games, like you try to win ugly, isn't it?
Yeah.
But sometimes when you win ugly, you have to take the risk. I mean, just do everything you can really just to win 1-0. Get a 1-0 scoreline.
Yeah, we didn't take enough risks either.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, no, I think we can agree on that one. Why can't the manager just deploy a conventional formation with a normal style of play? Why invert a fullback when Bournemouth will never control the midfield? They will always look to play, I'm going to say, wide. I mean, I thought Bournemouth's midfield were all over us. What's his name? Scott.
Alex Scott was decent.
He was everywhere.
Good.
I mean, we played a conventional formation. Like, yeah, okay, the fullback inverted, but the fullback inverts most games and whatnot. That wasn't that for me. That I didn't look at the game yesterday and think, oh, that's why we didn't win, or that's why we struggled because we inverted a fullback. We struggled because we just weren't good enough. We didn't create any chances. I don't have an issue.
Maybe one of the arguments though is that if we would have overlapped a fullback, we would have been able to create more.
We've still seen us invert a fullback and also have an overlapping fullback. Actually,
because you're not inverting from both sides,
Yeah,
so you
exactly.
can easily overlap from the other side.
Yeah. I mean, I thought that Cucurella was. I mean, I don't know about you, but even though we got the clean sheet, I actually thought our back line. I think Chalobah was the best out of the bunch.
Fofana was better.
Fofana was very good, yeah.
I don't know why you're saying that, because I thought in the first half he looked a bit shaky. I thought Semenyo was bullying
the whole
him.
back line looked shaky.
No, I agree. But I think if you had to say who was the best out of the bunch, I would have said Chalobah. I thought Cucurella was underwhelming.
Fofana was better.
Gusto was underwhelming. And I'm talking about the first half here, and I think we improved in the second half.
But still, aerially, Fofana was good. To be fair,
aerially he's better. No question of that.
Not even that tall as well.
I think, I mean, this is a great follow up on that. Right, so Fofana meant the return of clean sheets, but our attack is piss poor. I know Maresca wants goals spread out, but it's not unreasonable to want a decent, reliable striker who can tap in an ugly goal. And I mean, not to reminisce too much, but I think Jackson is pretty much that player. If you're saying he's not going to score you 25, but he'll get you 15, and he did score quite a few ugly goals as well.
I mean, look, Fofana makes this team way better defensively, and he raises Chalobah's level. It's like what in the last 5 games, those two have started together. It's 4 clean sheets. That is a decent partnership that's starting to form. Look. Nothing wrong with wanting the goals spread out. You don't want to be relying on one player for goals. However, you need to make sure you've got the quality in the squad and in the team, and you've got those players that can get you the 10, 12 goals you want from, say, 4, 5, 6 players or whatever. So I've got no issue of wanting the goals spread out, but you've got to have the quality of players who can get you the goals that you need. And we don't, as we've said.
Yeah. I mean, if we had, let's just say, I don't know how many goals João Pedro's on. in the Prem.
He's
5,
on
6?
5.
4 or 5 maybe.
Okay. None of them are penalties, to be fair. So let's just say João Pedro ends up on 10 and Delap somehow gets 10 as well. For me, that is acceptable based on the fact that those two were like a replacement for Jackson, or at least one of them. But at least
what I mean is, though, like, what I mean is 10 goals. If they get 10 goals is not an improvement on Jackson, because Jackson got 10 goals last season.
It is. If two of them do it, then it's 20. That's spread out throughout the season.
Yeah, well, the point is, though, is that like all you've done is you replace 10 goals with 10 goals. Like, you haven't made an improvement.
No, okay. Sorry, let me be more specific. I don't mean player for player, but I mean in terms of the squad as a whole. If you're able to find more players that can contribute 5, 10 goals, it adds up. So
yeah, of course.
At the end of this season,
João Pedro will get you more goals than Nkunku got you last season. Yeah, so that you're in a better position in that sense.
In the conference league, different to be fair.
I mean, I wouldn't even consider João Pedro to be a massive improvement on Nkunku.
At the moment he's not looking like it, but I think generally when he's on it, he is, but he just hasn't really been on it enough.
For Maresca, yes, but as a player, I mean, Nkunku was just a way better player.
But also, when people say Delap's a replacement for Jackson, I don't get why people say he's a replacement. He should have been that alternative profile to Jackson, not the person who replaces him.
Well, if we would have had more clarity on where João Pedro played, I mean, that could have very much been what happened. But I think Jackson was probably thinking, what the hell's going on here? You've brought in two players who apparently are going to be strikers, so I've not got to play for this team.
I think something happened, like something must have happened behind the scenes or something, because literally last year he signed a new 2-year extension to 2033, and then he's gone. But I don't want to go in depth on Jackson, but like the way, like if Jackson had been performing like the Delap's been performing this season, he'd be getting crucified for it.
True. Yeah. True. Very true. Especially with the discipline as well. We tore him to shreds after Newcastle.
Right. And that was a ridiculous overreaction, because people are agenda driven. It was a ridiculous overreaction. Imagine if Jackson did that red card that Delap did in the Carabao Cup against Wolves. Imagine if he was playing how he played this season so far, he'd be getting pelters for it. I'm not asking for people to pile on players, but I'm just saying you need to keep the same energy and bring the same standards across the board.
100%. Yeah.
Do you know what? I think there's a part of it that's like, oh yeah, it's Delap. You know, a bit like if it was Costa, it's like, oh, of course, Diego got booked.
But he actually backed it up with substance and goals and shit. Right now, Delap's not backing it up with anything.
That's the only thing you can bring to the table right now.
Go on, and Father, you can answer this one, mate. The big ones, the big hitting question. People want Maresca out. What do you think about that?
Good question, but who are you going to bring in? If Maresca's got sacked, and then they're going to bring another mediocre manager in.
I heard Chris Wilder's doing quite well at Sheffield.
There you go.
What's the point in replacing them? Why should that even be a conversation? It shouldn't be a conversation.
No, it shouldn't.
It shouldn't. We've just got a lack of quality. He said, "What do you think's going to happen if we bring in a new manager with the same players? Same thing's going to happen.
The same thing will happen. Yeah,
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
No.
How many people actually want Delap out as a percentage of the Chelsea fan base? Like,
no, I don't think there's that many now.
Okay, let's separate this. Online community, match going community.
Online community, there'll be loads more. I don't think there's that big of a section of the match going fans that
but
want
the
him
online
out.
Community, they just the stuff that they say on X or Twitter or whatever it's called. Sometimes you question whether they genuinely watch football.
Yeah, fair.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that the online community, 30% of people probably don't like Maresca. And I'd say in the match going community, probably about the same, to be fair. I don't know.
I mean, I do wonder whether there's a situation. I mean, this is totally different. This is very brief.
Actually, I'd say less people than that.
Yeah, this has got nothing to do with this question. But I wonder, like with Delap out, I don't think they're going to be able to bring the Omega deal forward. We can't sit and do nothing. It's not possible now for Jackson to trigger the obligation in the Bayern loan with him going to AFCON. He has to make 40 starts in all competitions for that to be triggered. That can't happen now. I wonder if it's worth trying to fix something and see and maybe explore the possibility of trying to bring him back for the second half of the season. You sell him in the summer, fine, no problem. But no, Jackson, we're not going to be able to get Omega in January. But I wonder if with Jackson not able to, Jackson can't trigger the obligation. There's not enough games left for him to be able to do that.
I agree with that.
I'm just putting it out there. I wonder whether it's something we should try and potentially maybe patch that relationship up a little bit, use him for 6 months, and then if he still wants to go in the summer, then fine, no problem.
But it's like the Chalobah situation.
We can't do nothing. We can't do nothing because if we get no striker in January, we're asking for big trouble.
Yeah, but it's like the Chalobah situation that we screwed him over, and then I mean Jackson. This is less of a situation where we've screwed him over, but still, it's the same situation where we're helplessly calling someone back when you literally could have just kept him. I think Jackson's situation is slightly different, but I still feel that we could have actually convinced him to stay. We could have told him, okay, Delap and Pedro, they've come in, but we've got 60 games this season. We're going to need you as well. I'm sure Jackson would have been fine with that. But I think also there was an element from the club that we might be able to get a bit of profit from Jackson. So selling him is not the worst at the end of the day. And then here, after Delap got injured against Fulham, we're scurrying back to Jackson as if like we've not just screwed him over.
That was embarrassing.
That's embarrassing, and it's the second time we've done that after Chalobah as well, and we're begging him to come back. I mean, how does that look like on the external sort of image for the club? How does that look? That looks terrible in terms of a club, and you just keep on doing the same thing. That's why for me, you should have kept him, convinced him to stay, and then we wouldn't be having this situation. I remember many people saying, "Oh, Delap and Pedro, that's enough up front," but with the amount of games you have, you always need 3 striker options up front, barring maybe Pedro because he's like a 9.5. So in fairness, you have 2 options with one who can play up front. So yeah, I think bringing back Jackson in January would be another case of it being just a bit embarrassing from our side. But no, I mean, we have to do it.
Sorry, just to say, this watering can guy, he gets on like I've had so many people today saying to me that I wanted Jackson out for Delap. I didn't want Jackson out for Delap. I maintained all summer that I wanted Jackson to stay, and we should have kept him. I can bring up many streams on my channel.
Bring the receipts.
I've had so many people chatting nonsense, saying that I wanted Jackson out and to replace him with Delap. I never wanted Jackson to leave. I always said if Jackson leaves, bring me someone better. And with Delap, I was happy for him to come, but I always stated I didn't want him to come as the main guy. That's it.
I remember when
I didn't want Jackson out for Delap.
When we were about to record Jackson, I remember Charlie, one of your videos of like 3 striker like season here to stay or something. So I don't know what.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what. Yeah. Anyway,
suits people's narrative. That's what it is.
Nicole says, if you think Omega is the answer, what is a question? Think again, think smart.
I mean, that's the only option we got.
There's no way we'll bring him in January. He's their captain. And
isn't there a possibility that he comes there?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Because the Omega signing didn't go down well with Strasbourg at all. At the time, imagine we take their main striker and captain halfway through a season to bring it forward. That's not going to happen.
Yeah. What did he? Didn't he like do something to the? What did he do the other day? Because I saw he put like an apology letter.
Basically, like in an interview he done when he like, I think during the international break, he basically like when he signed from Strasbourg from the Austrian side Sturm Graz, he basically said like he thought that Strasbourg was in Germany when he was signing for the club, and obviously because of the connotations like war-wise between like that's like quite offensive for. It obviously didn't mean it from an offensive standpoint, but it didn't go down well. I think a 1-match ban for that is a bit steep though. I'm not really sure, but yeah,
maybe they're just playing to the crowd. You know, one of them.
I don't know.
It's like Xhaka's interview when he knew nothing about Sunderland.
Yeah, but now he's a fucking Sunderland legend.
Fair play to him. I think Jack has been great. I remember when they came to the bridge, he was all over us.
Yeah, he dominated the midfield.
Okay, guys, we're going to wrap it up very shortly. Guys, if you haven't smashed the like button, please do. We've got over 500 if you're watching on all platforms. If you're on X, come pop over to YouTube, smash the like button. You can also like via X or retweet. It all helps on YouTube as well. Show your love, show your support, especially if you actually enjoyed what you have seen. Let's try and get to as many likes as we can before we round it out. At least 80 if possible. Appreciate everyone that's jumping on. Regardless, listen, before we round out, let's have our score predictions for the Atalanta game, and then we're going to finish it up there.
Tuesday, isn't it? Yeah.
Mate, it's not long. It's not long. Me and Rachel were going out there on Tuesday morning. Father, I'm sorry. She said, I can't have a tour of the San Siro. She said, I'm not fucking going. I don't want to do it. And she said, what? Father's coming? Fuck that. So I said, Rachel, come on, let's hang out with Father. And she said, no, I want to have a romantic day in Italy.
You know what? Fair enough. It's Milan, isn't it? Fair enough.
She's dancing in the background. She's dancing in the background. There you go. No, but you know what? I would have quite liked
City
it.
of Romance, is it? I know
No,
that's
that's
Italy's like a country of romance, isn't it? Italy,
Paris,
France.
the city of loving it. But yeah, no, Italy could be romantic, I guess. I don't know.
You know, what do they do in Italy? That's iconic.
Eating pizza, a bit of
Nice food, the spaghetti, you know, Lady and the Tramp, you know, all that stuff.
Yeah, but you could probably do that anywhere with a bit of pasta, to be honest.
Well, but it's Italian. It's Italian.
Yeah, no,
just the driving as well. There, it's impossible.
The driving.
I don't drive, but every time I
Why
go
would you
there,
drive to Italy?
No,
as in like when you're in Italy, just none of the drivers have patience. It's like in the UK, when you're in London, people will be willing to sit in like the biggest queue ever. Whereas in Rome, you'll just get people who are just like, when you're in the taxi, you feel like you're going to crash genuinely every 2 minutes.
All right, we'll be getting an Uber then. I don't know if that'll be much better, but okay. What's your score prediction, Thomas, for Atalanta?
I don't know, actually. I think right now, I feel like we can either win, lose, or draw. I genuinely don't know what happened.
There you go.
There we go.
I reckon.
There we go.
Depends who we, because Caicedo, he'll put most likely.
Yeah, Caicedo will play that game. Yeah.
Yeah, if Caicedo plays, I see
Mate,
it
we're
being
all over
either.
them with Caicedo.
I see it being either a 1-0 us or a 1-0. That's how I see it going.
Okay,
So
Charlie.
It's tough, isn't it? We haven't been playing well, but it's a European game. Maybe we'll be a bit more up for it. I don't really know.
Who's their manager now? Because they sacked the other one.
Raffaele Palladino. He's done better since he replaced.
Where did he come from?
Palladino, I think, has been manager at Fiorentina before. He's a decent manager. He's done a few.
Fiorentina were a respectable side.
no, it's
Not this season, they're not. But
why did the guy
but
get
previously? I remember they were respectable.
well,
They got
Juric
the
got
Conference
sacked
League final and stuff like that.
because he was shit.
the guy last season? He was good, wasn't he?
Oh, Gasparini, yeah, he left because he went to Roma. Yeah. I think we probably will get ourselves together in this game. I'm going to go 2-1, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was a 1-1 draw.
Sweet. Father?
Same 2-1 Chelsea as well.
With Caicedo, 100%. I think we're winning. Defo. Without Caicedo, I'll be like, fair enough.
Funny enough, we haven't had a Champions League European away win since 2022, 3 years ago.
Well, I mean, we have been out of Europe, so that's understandable.
Yeah, that's also true.
Out of the Champions League, so I mean, that never helps. Father, were you there at the San Siro when we beat them 1-0?
Oh, no, I wasn't there.
Oh, fair enough. Well, I remember that one. That was good fun. Italy's great. Just one thing, anyone who is going, do not bring anything in that stadium. It will be confiscated. Unless it's a phone or a wallet, they take it away from you. No portable chargers.
No, that's why I need to get a charging. That's why I need to get a charging case.
Father, you've got one, haven't you?
Yeah, I've got one.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
also, Atalanta lost yesterday.
I've got one as well, mate. Charging case is decent. That's not getting taken away.
What does it look like? What's on the inside?
Bro, it goes in, right? You've got the little clippy bit there, and then the buttons at the back, and yeah, you just pop your phone in and it charges.
Go on, let's have a little review.
What we do? Am I doing like? Are we back on the shopping channel or something?
Yeah.
Is it even charged? Oh no, I've got one bar there, so that's 1 bar of charge on that at the moment, and then it just slots in there.
Okay, all right, there you go.
Yeah.
And how much does that cost?
I think it was like 20 quid on Amazon. Might have even been less.
There you go. All right. Well,
Yeah, mate, obviously, I don't go to Champions League away games in Italy. Well, I haven't been yet. And but if I do, then that's going to be very useful.
there you go. All right, guys. Well, listen, thanks so much for coming on. Big up to all of you. Thanks, Father. Thanks, Thomas, as always. Good to see you again, Charlie. The next episode of the Day After Show is going to be 10 p.m. on Wednesday. So come and join us for that one after hopefully a nice win. And we can have a little bit more of a positive conversation. But apart from that, we're going to leave it there. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, guys. And we will catch up very, very soon.